Welcome and thank you for tuning in. You're listening to the Beyond 50 radio program. I'm Daniel Davis. On the program today, we're going to be talking about something that I think a lot of you will find very tasty. It's simply known as the Orgasmic diet. It's a diet that's based on the nutritional discoveries of one Maureen Lindbergh, who, while trying to get off antidepressants and get pregnant, discovered through a naturopathic doctor a recommended diet that was high in omega-3 fatty acids, which caused her to become spontaneously orgasmic. Joining us here on the program to talk about this is Deborah O'Brien. She's a certified holistic health and life coach with Espavo Life Services, which is located in Beaverton, Oregon. So here we're going to join together and have an orgasmic diet. Deborah, thank you for being on the program today.
Thanks, Daniel. It's great to be here.
Now, tell us about this discovery that you came across here and how you've been able to implement and share this with other people, what the results were.
So what's great about it is that I studied with the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and one of the lectures was actually on this very diet, and it was surprising information about how people's bodies and biology, particularly women, well, men too, but I mean, for this particular issue, it was more profoundly, impacting women who went on the diet. This woman, as you noted, she had gone to her naturopath to find an alternative, something safe other than pharmaceuticals for getting off antidepressants, and this high dosage omega-3s created this a much increased libido, increased desire, and but also response, and it was something that she discovered quite by accident, and then told her girlfriend about, and then the girlfriends, all tried it, and then they decided to do a clinical study. She got Dr. Davis Ferguson, and because Pfizer tried to do a Viagra for females and it failed, so they tried a PI at Columbia University for this particular method, and there are other components other than the omega-3s, the other dietary recommendations, including supplements of zinc and magnesium, higher dosages, because those also improve mood and desire.
Mm-hmm. Now, I understand that the pharmaceutical industry tried creating a Viagra for women, but that didn't go over too well.
That's correct. Yeah, Pfizer tried a Viagra for women that didn't fly, and they looked for research funding, but they couldn't find any, which she felt was probably pretty the trend in our political climate. Not too surprising. But they did do some studies, and she was offered to publish in the Journal of Sexual Medicine, and they did find that 75% of the women who went on the diet had some real similar results. And it also helps men, because the omega-3s are they're kind of missing in our diet. The problem is we have omega-6 and omega-3, which are a kind of a yin-yang relationship in our bodies as far as what happens in our immune system function. Omega-6s are basically they produce an effect of being vasorestrictive, which is immune. Those are the vasoconstrictive, and they actually make our immune systems inflame. They stimulate the immune system, omega-6. And the omega-3s actually do the opposite. They're the most potent anti-inflammatory. They're more potent than any pharmaceutical drug. But the problem with the American diet is we are getting ratios. We should have ideally ratios of 1-to-1 or 4-to-1, 6-to-3 omegas, omega-6 to omega-3. But the ratios are more like 20-to-1 in omega-6 to omega-3. And it's creating this imbalance in our bodies, which is also what's driving the problems with infertility and low testosterone. What this diet does is it boosts testosterone. and it gives you a stronger sense of confidence in yourself, a little more assertiveness, more of the masculine tendencies. But physiology is physiology for both men and women. And the omegas they produce the omega-3s will increase circulation and nitrous oxide, like Viagra does, actually. It thins the blood. It's a blood thinner.
So I'm curious, what foods would we find omega-3s in? Do we go that direction, or do we tend to maybe find supplements that will help us to be able to supplement what we're not getting?
Well, most of the diet, the problem is the animals that we used to eat used to be raised on pasture and out of the sunlight, and so they had different nutrients in the meat that we ate. So we were getting more omega-3 from land animals, and we ate more fish. And it's currently in our modern world, there isn't enough fish to give us the omegas that we need for all of us to have what we need, and just eating it every day during the diet. Actually, I just went to the Bonneville Dam and looked at the fish and was talking to a gentleman. He's saying, you know what, there's too much mercury and toxins in the fish these days. They tell people not to eat more than 2 servings of fish a week.
Mm-hmm.
So we really can't eat it like we used to because of all the toxic environment that there is. But they do purify it and put it in nice potency formulas that we can take as a supplement, which will boost the serotonin levels as well. So it increases mood. It's better than an antidepressant. It's basically what's missing when people are depressed. There's a lot of this omega-3 we're not getting because we consume too much omega-6. It's creating an imbalance. Plus the autoimmune disease. Inflammation is our immune system out of whack. And that's what the anti-inflammatory properties of omega-3s do, is help to suppress that immune system overreaction.
Mm-hmm. It seems fascinating to take a look at this direction here as I was looking through the notes on this and realizing the fact that, for men out there who may be using Viagra because they're older and things just aren't working as well as they used to, that this actually is a direction you can go where you don't need that anymore.
It's pretty awesome because they were doing some studies, and the doctor actually, there was a doctor that, Dr. Goldstein at the Boston University, that was recommending the diet in tandem with testosterone replacement therapy to increase the testosterone levels for men. It's a great diet.
Mm-hmm. So besides not being able to have fish, are there other ways we can get omega-3s from a diet, or do we really need to lean more toward supplementation?
Well, it would be good to eat more. Obviously, the things we want to stay away from that actually there are diets or foods to avoid, because the problem is we're in our culture with the processed food companies and the way that foods are created. They're using a lot of soy and soy oil. Mm-hmm. Soybean oil is the favorite for fast food packaging, and they actually create inflammatory vasoconstrictive properties of omega-6, basically, and high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease. All these things are related to that inflammation that happens in the body when you eat too much omega-6. So too many carbs and sugars, too much meat protein, animal protein, so reducing those things will help a lot with the omega function in the body when you do get some and eat it. And it's found in walnuts, chia seeds, any kind of oily fish, sardines, salmon is high in it, not the farm salmon, but wild caught. And they're just not a lot of places that you can get it. Flaxseed oil has it, but you have to grind the flax seeds to get it to release it from inside the seed, or take the oil. Omega-3 high dosage that they're recommending, though, you definitely want to supplement for this diet.
Mm-hmm. How about blue-green algae? I understand that's an incredible superfood. Is that a place you might be able to find this as well?
Yeah, actually, spirulina is really a good place for omegas.
Mm-hmm.
That's the blue-green algae, and Chlorella also has omega-3. Those are superfoods.
Now, I have something here I wanted to read, and I just wanted to see if this was a true statement. It says, to decrease libido, go on a vegetarian diet with whole grains, drinking lots of green tea, and eat lots of soy and tofu. Is that true?
Well, it is true because
I just wondered with a statement like that what vegetarians would think.
vegetarians, if they're getting enough of the omegas in a supplement, then they're probably going to be okay. The soy is really a problem because it simulates estrogen, and estrogen is really one of the problems that we have a predominance of false estrogen in our food sources and in all our personal care products. In fact, they call it xenoestrogen, and it's something that that's in plastics and petroleum products, but it's also in our hair and conditioners and soaps, and it's also in pesticides that they use in farming practices. So xenoestrogen is predominant in our culture, in our foods, and everything we're surrounded by, which is another factor in this, this imbalance that's going on with the testosterone.
Now, it's also recommended, too, that people try to stay away from a high-starch, sugary diet. Tell us why that's important.
Well, it's important for a lot of reasons. This particular diet, sugars actually can create cycles of addictive response in eating patterns, and also with the amount of carbs that you eat when you eat sugar, it brings down, and it's feeding your body with the fuel of omega-6, and it's creating an imbalance there with with the ratios that we want to achieve in order to have a hormone system that's balanced and healthy, and the immune system functioning properly. A lot of what's going on with the immune system is we're being triggered. Our immune system's fight or flight, stress, adrenals are out of order in a lot of people, but the immune system is the most difficult thing because the foods we eat aren't getting absorbed properly in our gut, and the nutrients aren't being distributed properly, even if we eat healthy food sometimes, because we have to be aware of the gut microbes that actually deliver the delivery system to the cells for health and energy. And so those are a lot, and many of us need to be rebuilt, and those are probiotics. But the omegas are really vitally important because of the inflammation being the root cause of all major disease as well. But we all want to have a good sex life. That's like the best part.
Well, that, and as you were also explaining earlier, being in a confident mood, to step into the day, you kind of wonder at times how many of our fears about doing things that we want to do come from the fact that we just don't have the confidence we need to step forward.
That's a real possibility. I think that when we take care of the dietary needs of our bodies and we start to pay attention to that, the biology is biology. We're all physical beings here. Now you can do all your spiritual meditation and your positive, work that you're doing with your spiritual path, and all of that is very healthy and very good. But combining it with a healthy diet and paying attention to things like, that you have this immune system that needs to be nurtured properly with the best balance of the omegas 6 and 3 that gives it an optimal function rather than running in inflammation all the time.
Now, has this been really effective for people, women who experience menopause and, for instance, men who experience andropause, and sort of turning those symptoms around that come along with that to, be better with aging?
Absolutely. What's happening with aging is that our bodies are not, like I just mentioned about the the gut microbes, we're somehow the nutrients aren't, even if we eat good food, sometimes they aren't getting to the cells and the information isn't being delivered and received. I just watched a video with Dr. Tom O'Brien in the Mayo Clinic talking about chlorine being a factor in blocking receptors for thyroid hormone, and why so many people are having thyroid imbalance symptoms, and then going to the doctor and they're, oh, your levels are fine. Well, it's in the bloodstream, but it's not getting to the cells. And just there are so many things to pay attention to right now regarding our health that we need to be very mindful of how our bodies are operating, and not just take for granted that, oh, I'm just getting old.
Mm-hmm.
Life doesn't have to, get you don't have to get all tired and lose your zest for life as you age. You have choice, and you can do things that will improve your quality of life.
It's interesting to note, too, as you were alluding to earlier about the enjoyment of sex and sexuality, that women, didn't tend to think about it as much as they do once they're following this diet regimen.
Yeah. Well, there's kind of something to become spontaneously orgasmic. I mean, that was really kind of the interesting part of this diet that I thought, well, how could, really? But I think also as we age, there are things that women's bodies sort of need to, like we have bladder and incontinent issues. It's the pelvic floor and doing muscle tightening and strengthening exercises and is a good idea, and also improves your sexual response and enjoyment. And so there's, there are a lot of things that if we begin to know, care about and notice and take care of, that our lives can get better.
Mm-hmm. So now when, let's say someone goes on this particular diet or begins this, how long before they begin to feel some of the results that we've been discussing here?
For women, it can take as much as 5 weeks because of their menstrual cycles, depending on the age of the woman. But it's because we have hormone cycles. In 30-day cycles, it takes a little longer for the diet to really show results. But everybody's different. But that's what they say about women. For men, they have a result pretty quickly, within a week.
Fascinating stuff here. Is there a place people can find out and get more information about this so they can, approach this? Is this something is there a risk involved in going this direction, or, does it need to be monitored by a doctor, for instance, or is it something that you can pretty much do on your own as long as you exercise, good judgment?
Well, it's always good to be, cautious at the beginning of starting a new regimen of any type. This is a natural supplement practice that our bodies need anyway, so it's not like taking a pharmaceutical drug where you don't know all the ingredients and side effects. But there are things to pay attention to here. It is a blood thinner. So it acts as a blood thinner when you take higher dosages of omega-3. So if you're on a daily aspirin regimen, they say don't use the diet or just be cautious with the diet. If you're on blood thinners, don't use the diet. If you're scheduled for surgery, or stop using the diet before your surgery within a week or so, and that way you're not, your blood that's thinned won't become an issue for your surgery. And if you're doing a diet pill, or birth control pills, the hormones in the birth control pills can cause some problems too. So it's good to be careful as you start. The formula I have in a document that's linked to my newsletter sign up. So if someone's interested in getting the formula and the whole transcript from the interview with Marina Lindbergh, the author of the book The Orgasmic Diet, the one who discovered it, I have that transcript all typed out, and it's accessed through signing up for the newsletter. It's in the welcome message. When you sign on for the newsletter, you'll get in the welcome message a link to open the document to have the whole diet theory and formulas all written out, plus some links to some really good supplements for omega-3 high potency.
And this website is where?
There'll be links, I believe, that will be available at, as you said it on your YouTube format.
Okay.
And so there'll be some links there. So if you look above the YouTube screen or below it, you'll see just some words that say, click here for the diet formula or to sign up for the newsletter.
Mm-hmm. Or
Or you can go to my website, and it's EspavoLifeServices.com, and it's spelled ESPAVO, Life Services with an S.com, and sign on to the newsletter there. And the welcome message that you get in your inbox when you sign on my newsletter will hold that document for you in a link so you can easily access it and print it.
Well, this is very encouraging information out there for people who really don't want to go the route of, for instance, taking prescription or non-prescription medications for things that they want to build natural cycles, and feelings that they had before when they were younger, and to kind of bring that youth back again.
Well, yeah, and it boosts dopamine and serotonin levels, improves mood. It lowers the sex hormone globulin levels that suppress the natural testosterone. It just does a lot of healthy things that we need right now.
And so far, there doesn't seem to be any harmful side effects going in this direction, is there?
No side effects at all. As I said, the only things to pay attention to are the blood thinning properties of this diet, and if you're taking birth control hormones of any kind, you can try it. It's not going to, it's not going to hurt you, but I don't know that it'll have the effect that is desirable in effect.
Well, I say there's nothing better than finding a particular diet that leaves a person in a state of constant orgasmic bliss through the whole day. You can just imagine the things you can accomplish. Deborah, thank you so much for being on the program today. If you can, give out your website again one more time for our listeners so they can find out more about this.
Okay, great. Yeah, happy to. It's www.EspavoLifeServices. Espavo means thank you for taking your power. And it's spelled ESPAVO, Life Services with an S.com.
And it kind of makes you wonder what the word is for thank you for enjoying your orgasm today. Just having a little fun to let people know, don't take things so seriously, but seriously consider approaching the orgasmic diet. Again, Deborah, thank you so much for joining us here on the program today.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks, Daniel.
We want to thank you, the listeners out there, always trying to provide you with great information that you can use and share with others as well. Just imagine your whole community out there enjoying the orgasmic diet. Be a lot of barbecues going on, a lot of laughter, I would imagine. You can find out more also by visiting us at Beyond50Radio.com. That is the number 50. We do have our weekly e-news updates for you to sign up, and you can also probably find out more about this orgasmic diet as well. I'm Daniel Davis. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Beyond 50 radio program, and remember, live your day past halfway.